Okay, it's recording. Commissioner Gorick,
Commissioner Gwarek here.
Commissioner Locks, Commissioner Macchio, Commissioner Volpe,
Commissioner Volpe's here.
alternate Albanese, I know she's there.
I see her.
Alternate Al.
There she's waving.
Okay, we'll take it with a visual wave.
We'll call that a
I'm
here.
unmuted. I don't know why
there you
nobody
go.
can hear me.
There you are.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Alternate Coles.
Delay.
Alternate Coles.
Alternate Coles is here.
Alternate Coviello. Alternate Salvocool. Secretary Santiago.
Tego is here.
Vice Chair Salka.
Salka is here.
Chairman Hammersley.
Hammersley's here. I did hear from Joe Coviello. He's going to be about 5 or 10 minutes late. We'll see Commissioner Albanese for tonight's meeting, and if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
You want to sit? Do you want to see another one, or just leave it at 6?
Oh, well, I saw Sue Locks in there somewhere. Did she drop off for some reason?
Yeah, Sue was here.
Yeah, I don't see her name in there.
Maybe she's having trouble getting back in.
Yeah, she's not on the participation list.
Kaylee, quick. Kaylee.
I'm just going to text her and see if she's. Well, can we do this? Can we just see Caleb until she comes back? And you okay with that, Caleb? We'll play it by ear. It's a pretty light agenda. I'm not sure we're going to be voting on too much tonight, so you won't get a real opportunity to shine too much. But let's do that, Rob, so we can just get on with this. Okay, let's see Caleb in place of Sue Locks. If she comes back, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
All right. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing for a moment of silent reflection, please. Okay, thank you. So I did hear back from Sue. She said that she's on. She's on my phone. She's having issues with her modem. So, Rob, can you just unmute? We got one phone call there. That must be.
Yeah,
her.
I want to see if I can unmute. It says request sent. That's the problem with call-ins. I can only request them unmute. I can't do anything else. That's the new software update, I'll say, with WebEx.
So make it less friendly.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, let me try unmute. Oh, I don't even want to try that because then I'm gonna have to individually mute everybody. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can really do unless in the chat function. No, because she wouldn't be able to do that with the phone. Yeah, they've done a few improvements to this that aren't friendly to public meetings and public hearings.
Well, I mean, we can have her. If people are comfortable, I mean, I can just go by what she's texting me. If you want to use it that way. I think there's only 2 things we're going to be voting on tonight, anyways. And short of the minutes and that sort of administrative stuff. Let's move forward. Let's see if we could figure out a way to get that taken care of at some point. But that is a problem because if we had a public hearing tonight and someone was on the phone and wanted to give public testimony, they wouldn't be able to do it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we haven't had anything controversial really since, or really anybody from public hearing, public standpoint, since they made this update. I think it was in November. and it's a big problem. So knowing that we're having this specific problem with the commissioner right now, I'm definitely going to be taking this to IT, and if something we can't fix, which I don't think we can, maybe we have to move to a different different platform.
Yeah, we're going to have to do something with that pretty quickly because I think we have some
Yep.
things coming down the pike that are going to raise a lot of interest. And it's ironic that we start this remote meeting thing out and we're doing so well, and as time has progressed, we've gotten worse at it. But anyways, if we can get a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting on December 15th, 2020.
Commissioner Salka makes a motion to approve the minutes from the December 15th meeting.
We have a motion from Commissioner Salka. Do we have a second?
Centego, I'll second.
Centego with a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any objection? Motion passes. Moving on to item 7A, LE Real Estate LLC site plan modification application for a two-story office retail building property located at 1615 West Street in a WSB zone, parcel size 2.13 acres, special permit number 1802. This was tabled from our last meeting on December 15th. I see Sev there. Sev?
Mr. Chairman, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank God. Last time didn't work. We are requesting an additional tabling if it's okay with you.
Okay, Rob, we don't need a motion for that. We could just act on that, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Is there any objection for any commission members to tabling this item? Hearing no objection, item is tabled. 7B, Mount Southington site plan modification application to remove existing ski school building and replace it with 2,820 square foot two-story building, property located at 396 Mount Vernon Road, parcel size 98.91 acres in an R80 zone, special permit number 1809. This was tabled from December 15th. I believe it was tabled because it was still awaiting action by the Wetlands Commission. Has that action taken place yet?
Tuesday night, we hope to get action, right?
So we're still waiting for Wetlands?
Yes, I was not able to present it the last time because of you could not hear me. So if you want, I can make a presentation.
Well, I'd rather wait for Wetlands if you're okay with that to have wait for them and then we can just do it all in one swath. You and the Wetlands has it on their agenda to act on it when Thursday?
This Thursday we're supposed to be having a decision.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Sev? Or?
No problem.
Yeah. Is there any objection from any members on the commission? Hearing no objection, we'll table that item as well. Item 7C, Town of Southington site plan application for a demolition of existing pump station building, concrete pad, equipment and apparatuses. Did I say that right? And the construction of a new precast pump station, related controls, concrete pads, fencing, stormwater management facilities, and landscaping, Plantsville Pump Station property located at 806 South Main Street in a CB zone, special permit application 1810. This was tabled from December 15th. I believe we're still waiting for Wetlands on this one. Jim Gerpone, could you fill us in?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. As with the two previous applications, our application is for action on Thursday's Wetlands agenda.
Okay, so you're looking for a table on this, Jim?
Yeah, we could request a table. It's an aging pump station. There's time to wait for Wetlands action.
Okay, any objection from members of the commission? Seeing none, item is tabled. 7D, May 24 referral for purchase of 196 Prospect Street for open space in the amount of $45,000. MR number 559. Mr. Salka, what we got?
Basically, we got a small piece of property that abuts what used to be the Plantsville Elementary. I guess now it's Oceana Elementary School. It can't be built on. There's some wetlands there. It's a nice piece of property for wildlife. And I think from a town standpoint and a school standpoint, I think it makes sense to purchase the property, number one. And number two, I think it can be used by the elementary school for little field trips out back where there is some wildlife and stuff like that. So I recommend approval.
Okay. Are there any questions for members of the commission? I think we'll just, if Rob, if they could just unmute themselves and ask questions. I see Teresa's got her hand raised. So why don't we start with you, Commissioner Albanese?
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Albanese here. You can hear me, I hope.
Yep.
Commissioner Salka, is this property a wooded parcel with some wetlands behind the school playground area?
Yes,
Behind-
yes, it runs actually from Plantsville or from Prospect. If you look at the piece of property,
Right.
it sort of runs diagonal, like southeast, back to the Plantsville or I guess the
Okay.
Oceana Elementary School, but it's all wooded.
Right. I think there was a Boy Scout that did a project back there with tree identification with a trail.
Yep.
I think I remember assisting the Boy Scout with that. I don't remember if it's still valid. I mean, if there's still, it would be nice to recreate that or just revisit that, so that'd be nice. Yeah. Okay. I'll take a look at the tax parcel. Thank you. Commissioner Albanese, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Teresa. Is there any other commissioner who has any questions? Sue Locks, if you have a question, just text it to me. She's trying to unmute herself, it says, but any other questions for members of the commission? Bob Salka, do you have an idea of what the size, what the acreage is on this?
I don't have it. It's fairly small. Rob, do you have that?
Yeah.
I had it in my notes. I forgot to put it on this agenda.
Let me look it up, and then I can try and get back to you.
Okay.
3.6 acres.
Yeah, okay, 3.6.
Caleb, what do you got? 3.6?
Yes, sir.
3.6 acres, according to
Yeah.
Commissioner Coles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right, Bob?
Yes, that's about right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I heard from Sue Locke. She's all set. Is there any other questions or comments for members of the commission?
Yes, I have
Okay.
Commissioner Volpe here.
Commissioner Volpe, go ahead.
Well, it's not really a question, it's more of a comment. I really commend this because it's wonderful. This is already a pretty dense area. Historically, water ran through here that helped support our early mills. So, I'm going to point that out, but really, Commissioner Salka, it's a great move and I commend it. It's really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Volpe.
Just one more comment, Bob. If you
ahead.
remember back when I was on the ZBA, there was a house built on Prospect right near that piece of property, and people were up in arms about losing the wooded area, but the house was built. So, and this property is probably 100 yards away. So it really, I'm sure the neighbors are pleased with this as well. That's it, Bob.
Thanks, Commissioner Salka. Any other comments for members of the commission? Questions? Seeing none, Rob, can you call the roll on this, please?
Yeah, sure. Gork,
Commissioner Gwark, yes.
Volpe,
Commissioner Volpe, yes.
Albanese,
Commissioner Albanese, yes.
Coles,
Commissioner Coles, yes.
Santiago,
Santiago, yes.
Salka,
Salka, yes.
Hammersley.
Hammers is a yes. Motion passes 7-0. I would note that Sue Locks did text me that she was in favor of this as well. So moving on to item 7E, release of a 1,350 E&S bond, CT Insurance Exchange 1133 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike. This is related to special permit application number 1133. Jim Garpone, I think this is you.
Yeah, this is
Go ahead.
ready for action, Mr. Chairman.
What's this project, Jim?
Yeah.
This is part of the Connecticut Insurance Exchange. What they did was they did a site plan, and after the site plan was approved, they wanted to construct a garage, which is set back from the street.
Yeah.
As part of the requirement for Zyro, it took a while for them to install their underground storm drainage for storage. That work is completed and was inspected.
Okay, everything's good. So any questions or comments from members of the commission? Seeing none. This a voice vote? Rob, yes?
Correct.
Yep. Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, administrative items. Regs Review Committee update and discussion. Peter Santago.
We did meet, and no decisions, but we basically kind of laid out a framework, kind of identified about a dozen or so places of interest, if you will, that probably needed to be updated. Things like, I have my notes, Rob, I don't know if you do, like the word shed. What does a shed mean? If you take a look at in definitions 2.06 family, the definition of family is very outdated and probably needs to be updated. Bed and breakfast needs some updating. I mean, there's identified about a dozen or so things that needs further discussion, and so we'll start to get into better words. And we find too sometimes in some of the regulations or some of the things in the hopes of being more clear by adding words sometimes confuse things. Like, sometimes we have regulations that try to give examples and use the word such as, and people many times interpret the word such as to mean only, which is not true. And so sometimes, we did a little benchmarking of other towns, and I think some of our regs do indeed need some verbal updates to add clarity. So, but we'll meet again this month. We'll get the meeting calendar, and I don't think this needs to be a regular recurring meeting every meeting, Mr. Chairman. I think when we have a decision, or we have something to bring in front of the bigger commission, we'll let you know.
Okay, if you could just let Rob know so that he can make sure that it gets on the agenda.
Yeah, well, Rob's on the committee, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to follow up, our last meeting was the day after our last meeting on December 7th. Well, yours is the 16th. We met on the 17th. Everybody went on vacation, including myself, scattered for 2 weeks. So nothing's happened except for that evening. We were reviewing section 2 and 3, which is exactly what Commissioner Santago was referencing. And our next meeting is actually scheduled for January 19th, which is the same date as the 19th, I believe it is. It's the same day as your next meeting, and we're going to meet at 4:30 before that.
So everything will be fresh.
Yeah. And one thing I'd like to kind of spin off a little bit is kind of goes back to the same discussion we had on the 16th, your last meeting. We had talked about variances if variances are required for vertical expansions within setbacks where buildings are already pre-existing. I kind of had gone into that thinking we would think about it. Of course, the commission kind of came a consensus for it pretty quick. So I reacted to that consensus and started to put together basically a confirmation of the policy that we kind of had already been kind of following. That kind of wrinkled some feathers with some other staff, and there were concerns from economic development. So what I did was I kind of retracted that, and I discussed on the 17th with the subcommittee the need to kind of look at this and explore this a little bit further, and maybe look at a regulation approach with a due process of it if we get to that again. So that kind of answer kind of remains ambiguous at this point in time, whether a variance is required. So we'll work on that in tandem.
So that's sitting with Peter's group as well.
Yes.
Okay. Peter, you got your work cut out for you.
Great.
Great power, great responsibility, my friend.
Great.
Just under administrative items, I want to bring up two quick things. One is that Jim Macchio, who resigned, I think I told you last month that he had resigned from the commission. I think it was the day before the last meeting, so it would have been December 14th. It was around that time. He served as a rep to the Council of Governments, CROG. We as a commission are off or have one slot as a representative. We don't have anybody there right now. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but if anybody's interested in serving in that capacity, let me know, and I'll get you on there. I did it for about a year and a half or so when I first got on. and it was a good opportunity to interact with peers across the greater Hartford region. I think there's 26 towns in CROG, but if you're interested in doing that, it could be an alternate as well as a full member. So just let me know. We have that slot open. The other thing I wanted to mention is that earlier today I participated or attended a forum that was put on by Desegregate CT group. I sent out the invite to all the members, and they were, of course, and I don't know if anyone else participated because there were about 125 people that were there from what I saw, but I did participate in that. I did ask some questions. I'm not quite sure what their agenda is, to be honest with you, and I asked Sarah Bronin, who's the head of that group, former chair of the Hartford P&Z, and a law professor at UConn, I believe. I did ask the question about what their goal was, and I really didn't feel like I got a real clear answer. I'm not going to go into detail about what it was. It's online. You can pull the meeting up and watch it. You can make your own judgments and so on. But I just wanted to let you know that I did participate in that earlier today. So I don't know if anyone else was there as well.
Chairman Hammersley, is it possible to send the link out to the commission, or send it to me and I'll send it to everybody?
Yeah, I probably can find it. I mean, I think it's at www.desegregatect.com, but I'm sure I could find it. You know, it's probably on that land use thread that you and I are a part of. But yeah, I'll look for it and get it to you right after this meeting. So
yeah, I mean, if it's easy for you, that's great. Otherwise, I can find it as well and try to send
yeah,
it.
they said it was going to be up later on today, so I'm sure it's up by now. It was at 12 o'clock. So
hey Bob, this is the email that came from Dawn Gambasini. I think there's a link, and it looks like there is a link to the meetings. Is it the same thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll send it out again. And like I said, you know, you can take it. Lasted about an hour and a half or so. You can take your time if you're interested to listen to it. And you know, I'm interested in hearing your perspectives. I'm not sure whether they're going to be able to do this session because I'm not sure that much is going to get done this session, which starts tomorrow. So, anyone else have anything else?
Commissioner Volpe
Commissioner
here.
Volpe, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of some of the things Desegregate is doing, just at least for doing some of these things, like as to keep myself fresh, I have to go to conferences, and that's just something that we don't get to do right now, right? Desegregate Connecticut kind of operates in a similar platform, just kind of talking about like exclusionary zoning practices, how to make our communities more diverse through housing practices and zoning laws. So I think you can take a lot of it with a grain of salt, but it is worth sitting in on because, like you noted, there's a lot of different perspectives. And like you said, I don't think that it's anything that's going to robustly happen overnight. So at this point, it's more of a toolkit, right? Because we need to progress as things progress around us. And we do live in a town that is predominantly white. So take the title for what it is. Desegregate Connecticut is just looking at ways to try to make things more inclusive, right? Diaspora a little bit less, right? So it's fun to tune into them over lunchtime. Sometimes they do get, you know, today I felt like it was a little saucy. So sometimes they're interesting. Yeah. You can learn something from them.
That chat box lit up pretty quick as that thing started, which I kind of wasn't surprised about. But and just to point out, Joe Coviello just sent out a link in the chat box there, so people can to take a look at that. And
yeah, here's the page. I didn't see the video posted yet though.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, so Joe put it over in the chat box there, and Rob, if you could just copy that and just email it out,
sure.
You know, because I know that Sue's not on the video right now, and she might be interested in it. You know, I think what you just mentioned, Commissioner Volpe, is you know, I understand that. I will say this, you know, my perspective is that they started off talking about things like elderly housing and you know, that type of stuff. And my mention to the group was, you know, in our town, we do have regulations for 55 and older. And as we all know, we've seen a plethora of those applications over the last year, and I'm sure we'll see more coming this year as well. And I also noted that as part of that regulation, we do set aside 20% of that development for affordable units. So it kind of, you know, I think I think that on some level they're trying to take a broad brush and apply it to communities, and I don't think that recognizes that local rule and that type of stuff is unique to New England and especially to Connecticut. It's well documented, and sometimes it's good and sometimes maybe it doesn't work so well. But I think that people have to be sensitive to that on when it comes to stuff like this. And I think that they're trying to do some good things. I think that and what I said to Sarah offline was try to find the common things that you can get done quickly, and maybe you sort of claim victory that way as opposed to try to go in there and change everything. If they're looking for statewide zoning regulations, we have them already. It's Section 8 of our Connecticut state statutes. Everyone's welcome to go read them. We just dealt with one part of that section this evening with the 824. I mean, 824 refers to Section 8, subsection 24 of the Connecticut General Statutes, and it deals with open space and the process on how open space gets done. So, I still, and I said this to her, I'm not sure what you're trying to do. It's not clear. And I think that they're struggling with that a little bit too. And, I think that as I was talking to Rob about it earlier, one of the things that is good out of this is that they were talking about doing a lot of data gathering. And, I think that there's value in that. But one of the things they showed today talked about, multifamily housing units and whether the town regulations require a public hearing or not, as if a public hearing wasn't a good thing. And I spoke up and I said, I don't think there's an example that I can think of where a public hearing is a bad thing. I think getting participation from the community is always a good thing. And, I think that that's something that we should value. I don't think that we should, make anyone feel bad. And I invited Sarah to look at our regs and take a look at them, because a lot of the stuff that I hear them talking about, we already have addressed. And, maybe we're an anomaly. I don't know. I mean, we certainly are special, but, are we the only town that does that? I mean, and look, I mean, a town like Columbia or Coventry or Litchfield or, they're going to be different than Southington, and a town like Hartford or New Haven or Waterbury is going to be different than Southington. So, but that's good, I think. I mean, I am an advocate for diversity on every level. And the market drives these things. It can't be driven by, some requirement that you do something. That usually doesn't work out very well for anybody. I mean, that's my position anyway. So, and I respect everyone else's position on things. So, I'm just encouraging people to go ahead and take a look at it and follow along with this stuff. I don't know if you are on their mailing list or not. I am, and I get their stuff regularly. So, is there anything else from commission members? No. Item number 9, items for public hearing, Rob.
Yeah. So you may recall we had a zone change approval for the corner of Meriden. I can't remember what street it is.
It's Meriden Avenue or Meriden Waterbury Turnpike.
Meriden Waterbury Turnpike. And that was for a potential car wash. That application, special permit and site plan has been received. Still waiting for a complete application, but we intend to schedule it for February 5th because we just don't have a lot of turnaround time coming out of the holiday to get it on for the next meeting. The second item we received is also going to require a number of things, and that's music to your ears, another 830G application. This one's going to be for Lanning Street. You may recall that one that had come before you. Or potentially, I did come before you and then withdrew because it was incomplete. It's back again with more documentation. I haven't verified everything is there yet, but again, that one we would recommend scheduling for February 5th.
Okay. Anything else from members of the commission before we adjourn? We did it in 30 minutes, folks. Sign of good things. If I can get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Salkin makes a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Santiago makes a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are done.
So,
thanks,
so
folks.
What happened? Did no one show up tonight, or?
No, this is a good thing, Joe. This is.
Wow.
There's an important vote, an election everybody needs to go watch on TV. That's why.
I'm glad I made it on time.
I don't think you're going to hear much about that anytime today, anyways.
No.
Yeah, not for another month probably. The way it's going.
Whoever's left at Desegregate Connecticut meeting video is not posted yet, but I'll send it out tomorrow afternoon. It should be up by then.
Okay. Thanks, Rob.
Okay.
So,
Thanks, everybody.
have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Sorry I didn't get your email, but please let me know about the next one. I just had a lot of deadline.
Email for me, Christina?
No, I was talking to Rob.
Email
the planning
came from-
department.
Oh.
Yeah.
The regs, he sent me,
Came
he's
later.
like, hey, the regs meeting is coming up. Like, do you want to go to it was like the next day, but I had a deadline and I couldn't make it.
Oh, yeah, no, totally fine.
Could you
I
email
feel
me?
for it, so.
Yeah, because opportunity to get published and it was my first deadline. So
Cool.
I was
Yep, understood.
okay. All right, toodaloo.
I love
Next
that
meeting is
saying.
19.
Have some time now. Goodbye.
Bye, folks.
All right, good night.